Have you ever seen a truck stretched so far that it looks like it was cut in half and rebuilt with several extra feet of frame? These machines have gone far beyond their original factory proportions, creating enormous gaps between the cab and the rear axles. Now imagine this. What would make someone take an already massive truck and decide to stretch it even farther? In some cases, it was strictly for work. In others, it came down to passion, style, and the desire to create something truly unique on the highway. Over the years, mechanics, companies, and dedicated enthusiasts have transformed ordinary trucks into remarkable builds, with frames so long that they seem to challenge every reasonable limit. In today's video, you'll see semi-trucks that were stretched to a completely absurd level. So get ready for a journey through projects that combine engineering, creativity, and a serious amount of boldness. And stay with me until the end, because the final truck on this list looks more like a road train than a semi. Kenworth K100. What was once simply a classic American cabover was transformed into a machine with proportions far beyond anything normal. Built in the United States, the Kenworth K100 became extremely popular from the 1970s through the 1990s because of its durability, reliability, and maneuverability on the highway. In the hands of enthusiasts who are passionate about classic trucks, however, the K100 stopped being just another working tractor. One of the most impressive examples belongs to the Kenworth family and was inspired by the famous truck from the television series BJ and the Bear. The project started with a 1992 Kenworth K100 that received an extreme frame modification. The truck was stretched to a wheelbase of roughly 240 inches, which equals 20 feet between the axles. Many conventional highway tractors use wheelbases between 200 and 220 inches. That means this build gained a clearly visible amount of additional space between the cab and the rear axles, completely changing its original proportions. Under the cab, trucks like this commonly used inline-six Cummins diesel engines with approximately 14 liters of displacement, around 400 horsepower, and a massive amount of torque. The engine was generally paired with a 13 or 15-speed Eaton-Fuller transmission. On this particular truck, the frame stretch was not done purely for appearance. Modifications like this can also change weight distribution and are commonly seen on trucks built for shows and custom truck events. Visually, the massive gap between the cab and the rear axles creates an extremely long profile. The chrome details and styling inspired by the truck from BJ and the Bear make the entire build even more distinctive. And if this Kenworth with a wheelbase of more than 240 inches already seems excessive, wait until you see the next truck, because these machines are about to reach even more ridiculous proportions. Kenworth W900. Even though it was already a naturally long truck, this Kenworth W900 was stretched to dimensions rarely seen on a conventional highway tractor. With its long hood and commanding presence, the model became a true symbol of American trucking culture. One of the most impressive examples is a 2000 Kenworth W900L that was completely transformed by Texas Chrome Shop in San Antonio, Texas. The truck received extensive modifications and became a full-blown show truck. Under the hood is an approximately 15-liter inline-six Caterpillar engine, producing around 550 horsepower. It is paired with an 18-speed manual transmission, giving the driver precise control over the engine's power in different conditions. The main highlight of the build is its stretched frame. The wheelbase was extended to approximately 250 inches, or nearly 21 feet between the axles, far beyond what is found on most conventional tractors. That extra length creates an enormous area behind the cab and completely changes the truck's stance. Viewed from the side, it looks lower, sleeker, and longer, which is exactly the appearance many show truck owners are trying to achieve. Nearly everything was customized. Engine parts, including the turbochargers, received powder-coated finishes, while the wheels and several metal components were covered in detailed engraving, something rare even among heavily modified trucks. The cab is equally impressive, featuring screens, a powerful sound system, custom finishes, aluminum pedals, and air suspension that allows the truck to sit lower during exhibitions. The result is a machine that combines power, luxury, and a level of stretching that completely transforms its appearance. And if this Kenworth already looks enormous, the next truck takes the exaggeration even farther. 1989 Freightliner cabover. This 1989 Freightliner cabover shows how a truck originally designed to be compact can be transformed into a machine with completely abnormal proportions. The cabover engine configuration was intended to make better use of the truck's total length. But this example received a frame extension that completely changed its original appearance. During the 1970s and 1980s, Freightliner cabovers were widely used on North American highways. They were known for their maneuverability, efficient use of space, and durability during long-distance hauling, making them a common sight in heavy transportation. Under the cab, trucks like this commonly used inline-six Detroit diesel engines with approximately 12 liters of displacement and more than 400 horsepower. The engine was generally paired with a 13 or 15-speed manual transmission. The main feature is the stretched frame, which increased the wheelbase to approximately 255 inches. That measurement is far beyond the proportions of many conventional cabovers, creating an enormous gap between the cab and the rear axles. The extension makes this Freightliner look even more unusual because it goes directly against the original purpose of a cabover. A truck designed to save space ended up receiving several additional feet of frame, making it much longer than it was ever intended to be. The gray paint combined with numerous chrome details reinforces the Freightliner's classic appearance. The shine of the metal components contrasts with the body and helps emphasize the length of the frame even more. The result is a combination of traditional American cabover styling and the exaggeration normally associated with show trucks. Even though it is one of the smaller builds on this list, it already shows how far some owners are willing to alter an original design. And if you're enjoying these semi-trucks that were stretched to a completely absurd level, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Now stay with me, because the next projects take this exaggeration even farther. Peterbilt 362 Purple Custom. This 1984 Peterbilt 362 was transformed from a classic cabover into a machine with proportions far beyond normal. Its cabover engine design already gave it a distinctive appearance, but the stretched frame created a profile completely different from its original configuration. Built by Peterbilt, the 362 was a familiar sight on American highways throughout the 1980s. The model was valued for making efficient use of its total length, but this particular example went in the opposite direction, adding several extra feet between the cab and the rear axles. Under the cab is an inline-six Detroit Diesel Series 60, with approximately 12.7 liters of displacement. The engine could produce between 430 and 470 horsepower, and was commonly paired with a 13 or 18-speed manual transmission. The frame was stretched to a wheelbase of approximately 276 inches, equal to about 23 feet. For a cabover, that measurement creates extremely unusual proportions and makes the empty space behind the cab appear even larger. The truck almost looks like it has been split into two sections. The cab remains concentrated at the front, while the rear axles sit far behind it, creating an elongated area that immediately attracts attention. The purple and white paint is one of the most striking details of this build. Combined with several chrome components, it transforms the truck into a true display piece and strengthens the contrast between its classic styling and exaggerated length. The extension also helps showcase the fuel tanks, side boxes, and other components mounted along the frame. Every part appears to have been positioned to fill the space without hiding the truck's absurd proportions. The result is a machine that combines heavy-duty engineering, customization, and a presence that is impossible to ignore. And if this Peterbilt already looks stretched beyond necessity, wait until you see the next trucks on the list. Kenworth Red Custom. This completely red Kenworth looks as though it was pulled from both ends until it reached proportions far beyond anything normal. The long hood model already had an imposing presence, but the extended frame transformed it into an even more dramatic machine. The project is based on a classic Kenworth, a type of truck highly valued by American enthusiasts for its rugged appearance and enormous customization potential. Nearly every component can be modified to create a one-of-a-kind look. Trucks of this type commonly use inline-six Cummins engines with approximately 14 liters of displacement and more than 450 horsepower. The engine is generally paired with a 13 or 18-speed manual transmission to make full use of the available power. The main feature is the wheelbase, which was extended to approximately 315 inches. That equals more than 26 feet between the axles, far longer than what is normally found on a conventional highway tractor, and enough to completely change its profile. The stretch also created room for a different layout of the fuel tanks and side-mounted components. The intense red paint, combined with numerous chrome details, reinforces the classic show truck style and makes the truck stand out wherever it goes. The result is a machine that combines power, presence, and absurd proportions. And if this Kenworth with a 315-inch wheelbase already looks enormous, the next truck does an even better job of hiding the true size of its frame. Peterbilt Blue Custom. This blue Peterbilt was stretched so dramatically that its true length almost tricks the eye. Even though it is a massive machine, the large sleeper and 3 rear axles help distribute the visual weight and make the truck appear more balanced. The project is based on a classic long-hood Peterbilt, known for its commanding appearance and extensive customization possibilities. Trucks like this are highly valued among drivers and regularly appear at truck shows and custom truck gatherings. Under the hood, configurations like this commonly use inline-six Cummins engines with approximately 14 liters of displacement and more than 450 horsepower. The engine is generally paired with a 13 or 18-speed manual transmission. The truck was stretched to approximately 325 inches in length. Even with that enormous measurement, the large sleeper and 3 rear axles occupy a significant portion of the overall structure, helping disguise the huge amount of additional frame. From the side, however, the exaggeration becomes much more obvious. The distance between the front section and the rear axles makes the truck look almost like a platform on wheels, while the blue paint and chrome details strengthen its visual impact. The result is a machine that combines style, power, and proportions far beyond anything ordinary. And if this Peterbilt already looks absurd, the next trucks take frame stretching to even more extreme levels. Peterbilt 362. When the rear axles sit so far behind the cab that the truck appears to be divided into 2 sections, it is obvious that the project has gone far beyond a simple customization. This Peterbilt 362 received such a major frame extension that its compact cabover appearance nearly disappeared. Built by Peterbilt, the 362 was a common sight on North American highways throughout the 1980s and 1990s. Its cabover engine configuration was designed to make better use of the truck's overall length and improve maneuverability in tighter spaces. Under the cab, trucks like this commonly used inline-six Cummins engines with approximately 14 liters of displacement and more than 400 horsepower. The engine was generally paired with a 13 or 18-speed manual transmission. The main highlight is the stretched frame, which increased the wheelbase to approximately 330 inches. That equals 27.5 feet between the axles, an extremely large measurement for a cabover truck. The added length creates a gigantic area behind the cab and completely changes the truck's visual balance. Viewed from the side, it looks much longer than it should, almost as if an entire section of frame had been inserted into the middle. Projects like this are commonly built for truck shows and custom exhibitions, where exaggerated proportions are part of the spectacle. The extended frame also creates space for larger fuel tanks, side boxes, and other custom components. The result is a machine that combines heavy-duty engineering, classic styling, and a level of stretching far outside the norm. And if this Peterbilt with a 330-inch wheelbase already looks enormous, the next truck takes the exaggeration even farther. Peterbilt 379 with a cat engine. Even before you notice the size of the frame, the candy green paint immediately makes this Peterbilt 379 stand out. But when the truck is viewed from the side, the true exaggeration becomes obvious. A structure so long that it completely transforms the model's original proportions. This example features a flat-top sleeper and several custom-made components. The candy finish adds depth to the paint and reflects light intensely, while the chrome details reinforce the appearance of a truck built specifically for shows. Under the hood is an inline-six Caterpillar C16 with approximately 15.8 liters of displacement. Depending on the setup, this engine can produce close to 600 horsepower and is normally paired with an 18-speed manual transmission. The frame was stretched to a wheelbase of approximately 350 inches, equal to just over 29 feet. That measurement puts the truck far beyond the dimensions normally found on a conventional highway tractor. To emphasize the length even further, the entire frame was painted white. The contrast with the candy green body and chrome components creates an elegant appearance, despite the truck's completely exaggerated proportions. The additional space also allows for a more elaborate arrangement of the fuel tanks, fenders, and side-mounted components. Every detail appears to have been planned to fill the structure without hiding the enormous distance between the cab and the rear axles. The result is a machine that combines raw power, detailed craftsmanship, and dimensions far beyond normal. And if this Peterbilt with a 350-inch wheelbase already looks absurd, the next truck goes even farther. Kenworth K100 cabover truck. A fuel tank nearly as long as some entire vehicles would already be enough to make any truck look unusual. On this Kenworth K100, however, it is only one detail in a project whose frame seems to continue far beyond what the eye expects. Built by Kenworth, the K100 became known for its cabover engine design and maneuverability. The model was developed specifically to make efficient use of the truck's overall length. But this example went in the completely opposite direction. Under the cab, trucks like this commonly used inline-six Cummins engines with approximately 14 liters of displacement and more than 400 horsepower. The engine was generally paired with a 13 or 18-speed manual transmission. The main feature is the frame, which was stretched to a wheelbase of approximately 380 inches. That equals nearly 32 feet between the axles, an impressive measurement even by show truck standards. Another striking feature is the enormous diesel tank mounted along the side of the frame. In addition to increasing fuel capacity, it follows a large portion of the structure and reinforces the feeling that the truck was stretched without limits. The brown paint, combined with numerous metallic details, preserves the classic style of old American cabovers. The gigantic space behind the cab makes it impossible to confuse this build with a conventional Kenworth. The result is a machine that combines durability, tradition, and completely absurd proportions. And if this Kenworth with a 380-inch wheelbase already looks longer than it should, wait until you see the final truck on the list. Peterbilt 35-9. The empty space between the cab and the rear axles of this Peterbilt is so enormous that the truck appears to be carrying its own frame. Viewed from the side, it is difficult to believe that the entire extension belongs only to the tractor. The truck became known as Johnny Holmes, a name given by its owner, an influencer in the trucking community. The project is based on a classic Peterbilt 35-9, recognized for its long hood, distinctive lines, and enormous customization potential. Under the hood, trucks like this commonly used inline-six Cummins engines with approximately 14 liters of displacement and more than 450 horsepower. The engine was generally paired with a 13 or 18-speed manual transmission. The main highlight is the wheelbase, which was extended to approximately 420 inches. That equals 35 feet between the axles, an extreme measurement even within the world of customized semi-trucks. To support the entire extension, the original frame had to receive structural reinforcement. A modification of this scale requires careful engineering to preserve the rigidity of the structure and prevent it from suffering under its own weight and length. Today, this Peterbilt is considered one of the longest wheelbase show trucks ever seen in the United States. Its size makes every maneuver a challenge and causes the truck to look more like a road train than a conventional tractor. The result is a machine that combines tradition, engineering, and a serious amount of boldness. While preserving the classic style of the Peterbilt 359, it shows how far some enthusiasts are willing to go to create something truly unique. Throughout this video, we saw some of the most absurdly stretched semi-trucks ever built. These machines started out as conventional models, but received so many additional feet of frame that they were transformed into gigantic projects unlike anything normally seen on the highway. We saw classics from Kenworth, Peterbilt, and Freightliner reach proportions that seemed to challenge every reasonable limit. Some were created for exhibitions, while others were built to attract attention on the road. But all of them showed just how far the creativity of truck enthusiasts can go. Now, I want to hear your opinion. Which of these trucks impressed you the most? Which one looks like it was stretched far beyond any practical need? And which one would you want to drive? Leave your answer in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. I'll see you in the next one.